What's up, gang? C7 free to play beginner guy right here, right now. In just 5 days, you can be doing C7 in just five full days. I farm about 8 to 10 hours a day, and because of that, I made progression all the way into C7. So, how did I do it? You want to use Holy Cleric, Wood Elemental, Hydra, Mummy, and the fifth one, I am using Flame Spirit. It is a nat 4. So, in replacement of this guy, instead of Flame Spirit, you can use Harpy, which is a Nat 3, Voodoo Walker, which is a Nat 3 as well from SD Dungeon, or you can even use a Fire Beetle, in which you farm from Scenario Mode if you don't pull a Nat 4 or Nat 5 that causes any kind of dot, such as Bleed, Burn, and Poison. So please take note on that. I know there's going to be some of you guys that are going to say that this is not a full free to play team because I have Flame Spirit, but again, you can replace this unit with any of the three that I just said. So what kind of stats are you trying to aim for? HP around 20,000 HP, and you're going to want to aim around 30% hit percent. The reason why you want around 30% is because I did a little bit of testing, and with like 10% you barely land any debuffs, and with around 25 to 30% you start landing a lot more. So I'm guessing you'll need about 40% hit rate to maximize your percentage of landing your debuffs. And as for your Holy Cleric, you don't need hit as she doesn't cast any kind of debuffs. You just put HP and just try to make her as tanky as possible. So now you're asking me, where do you farm the runes in order to get these stats? Well, it's really easy. All you have to do is go to airplanes, go to hell mode, and farm stages 1, 2, 3, and 4 for your Swift set, and then go to Gold Lot here, if I pronounce that correctly, and go to stage 5 and 6 in order to farm your hit percent set. The reason why you want hit percent is because you're not going to be able to get hit substats through your white runes, your 5-star white runes or potential green runes. You're not going to be able to achieve that 25 to 30% minimum hit percent. So you're going to want to use a hit percent set. So as you guys can see here, I have a switch set 1, 2, 3, 4, which is speed, HP, and then I get a 20% bonus from the focus rune, which brings me up to 30%. And then I have the Hydra, which is again a swift set, and I was lucky enough to have a 5-star slot 5, so I farmed out a slot 6 and slot 4 focus rune, and as you guys can see, I don't even have this one powered up, and you guys are going to see that I will be able to progress through C7 even with a +0 rune. So you're gonna want to use one focus set and swift set here as well, and then as for your mummy, again swift set, speed, HP, and then have your focus set on 5 and 6 or whatever you have. You could probably pass with like a couple 4-star runes, like two 4-star runes or so, but it would just make your runs a little bit less consistent because you'll have obviously less stats. And then as for your 5th unit, depending on who you use, again mine would be Flame Spirit. You can use Harpy, Mummy, or Voodoo Walker. Again, Swift, slot 2 is speed, and then slot 4 is HP, and then slot 6 is going to be HP as well. And then as you guys can see, I don't have a hit percent, so this unit can actually be a lot better. So because I don't have the hit percent rune, I don't have an additional 20%, which brings me to only 12%. So if I did do that, I will have a higher chance to land my burns, and in which will make these runs more consistent. But as you guys can see, I don't have mana, and which is why I just didn't bother to farm them out. Since I can do it pretty consistently now, I'm just going to farm out C7 and in hopes that I get better runes in the future to put on my Flame Spirit. So the skills that you're going to want to use for Holy Cleric is Meteor for the strip, Cure for the cure and debuff, and his passive Sacred Faith. Every time she strips, she heals the team. For Wood Elemental, you want to use Vine Ore for the attack break, and this Leaves for the AoE slow, and his passive doesn't do anything. Hydra for the poison for skill 1. Skill 2 will be the defense and resist crit ray up for 2 turns. You're going to need this because since we have minimum requirement stats, you're going to want to have some kind of tanky buff, right? So that's why we have defense and resist crit up in order to give us a more survivability rate. And as for your mummy, it's literally skill 1, skill 2, and skill 3 is all poisons. So Torment, Maggot, and Bandage Dance. And then his passive, you're going to want to use his passive, his leader skill for your ally leadership, because it increases your defense by 21%. That's going to help you survive as well. And again, I am using a Nat 4, but depending on who you use, you're pretty much just going to want to use these skills that cast either burn, poison, or bleed, and that will work perfectly fine. So as you guys can see here, my skill 1 is just a basic attack that casts HP regen lock, which doesn't really work for C7. You don't really need that, but skill 2 casts burn and skill 3 casts burn as well. So the whole point of this team is pretty much just to survive through the hits and then to kill the boss through burns, bleeds, and poison. So let's do one quick run here. Again, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure Catacombs is on the leader skill so you get 21% leadership, and yeah, just run it. So this team, again, it's consistent, but it's not 100%. I would say it's about, just because we have the minimum requirement, my Flame Spirit is only on 12% hit. This team is probably around 80% right now. If I was to upgrade my Flame Spirit to a hit percent rune for 5 and 6, it would give me an additional 20% hit, so I can land burns more. And if I increase Hydra's slot 4 to +9, this team can go from like 80 to maybe 85 to 90. And if you want to go to like a 100% team, you'll probably want to aim for anywhere between 25,000 to 30k HP to anywhere between 30 to 40% hit percent. So as you guys can see here, obviously we're killing the waves through dots, poison, burn. We're slowing the waves, and we're silencing with Flame Spirit, in which we don't really need the silence, but it's there anyways. And we're just pretty much killing them slowly but surely. And yeah, this is probably the most free-to-play team that you can possibly do for most of the players. Obviously, if you're a whale or you're a dolphin, you'll have more. You'll be able to pick better units, such as like better Nat 4s and better Nat 5s, in order to incorporate into your team. Such as if you were to reroll for like a, let's see, Medusa or Popo, you can, instead of Flame Spirit, you can use those units. Or if you pull like those, there was an L&D unit that I believe does damage based off of dots, and that guy is pretty incredible. He's a Nat 3. I don't recall what his name was. I think it was called like Sinner or something. But yeah, so pretty much anybody, just read through the skills, and if it has burn, bleed, or poison, feel free to throw it in. But the main units that you're going to want is the mummy, because every single skill that the mummy has is a debuff. Holy Cleric, because she's free to play, you can farm her for skill ups, and so she's going to be probably your best healer early game. Hydra for the AoE defense up and resist crit rate up, and the poison for skill 1, and his passive for every time he attacks, he gets a chance to increase the dots by 1. And then the Wood Elemental for the AoE slow and attack break slot skill 1. So that's pretty much the whole spiel of this team. You dot, as you guys can see, we strip with Holy Cleric, and then watch, just pay attention to his HP here. So watch when he goes, this is his attack bar, and we're casting all of these dots: poison, burn, slow, and just watch carefully here. Now we have so many dots here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dots. Watch his HP. Watch his HP once he goes up. Bam! He loses about what, like 1/4 of the HP just because of those dots. So that's pretty much how this team works. It's all about surviving the hits and killing the boss slowly with dots. Now, if you buy the rune packs, obviously you're going to be able to nuke down the boss, and so you don't have to progress through this way. But again, this is the C17 that I have for you guys, free to play, friendly, and anybody can do it within 5 days, because I did it in 5 days. So hopefully you guys get some good runes. Good luck. Let me know if you guys get any legendary runes, OP runes. Join my Twitch, in which is going to be in the description. Join my Discord. It will also be in the description, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace!